A woman can fake affection, she can fake excuses, but when she's cheating, her behavior will always betray her. The truth leaks out in ways she doesn't even notice. Welcome back to Olivia Rose. In this video, we're talking about one of the hardest realities a man can face when the woman you love might not be loyal. I'm not here to make you paranoid, I'm here to give you clarity, because the truth is, when a woman cheats, she always leaves signs. Psychology shows us that even the best liar can't keep her mask on forever. Her habits, her emotions, her choices, they all shift. Stay with me until the end, because I'll reveal 8 of the clearest signs that she's hiding something. And if you're serious about protecting your heart, you need to know them. Don't forget to subscribe to Olivia Rose for more insights into female psychology, love, and relationships. Now, let's dive in. 1. Emotional distance becomes her new normal. The first and often the most painful sign is emotional distance. A relationship is built on connection, not just physical, but emotional. You know that comfort you used to feel when you talk about anything, whether it was what happened at work, what you dreamed of for the future, or just silly jokes. When she's cheating, that connection starts to fade. At first it feels subtle. Maybe she stops asking about your day. Maybe her replies turn shorter, less thoughtful. She's there physically, sitting right next to you, but mentally, she feels far away. And you can sense it. The conversations that used to flow now feel forced. You ask her something, she answers quickly, maybe even distractedly, like she has somewhere else she'd rather be. This isn't mood swings, this isn't stress at work. When someone emotionally invests in another person, they naturally begin to detach from their current partner. It's not always intentional, it's the psychology of divided attention. Her heart is being pulled elsewhere, and the energy she once poured into you is now going somewhere else. One man told me his girlfriend used to stay up with him late at night talking about everything, but then she started going to bed earlier, saying she was tired. In reality, she wasn't tired of sleep, she was tired of him. Her emotional investment had already shifted. And here's the key: you'll feel it before you can explain it. That warmth that used to be there suddenly feels cold. Your conversations become mechanical, like she's checking off a box rather than enjoying the moment with you. She'll stop sharing details of her day, and instead she'll keep it surface level. You'll hear more, "it was fine," or "nothing much happened," when before she would have given you every little detail. Psychology calls this emotional withdrawal. It's not about her suddenly being quiet. It's about her choosing to no longer make you her emotional safe space. If you notice this, don't ignore it. Many men brush it off, thinking it's just a phase or maybe she's stressed. But patterns don't lie. If her distance becomes her new normal, if the warmth you once knew has turned cold and distant, it's a strong sign she's already building that emotional bridge with someone else. 2. Sudden changes in routine. The second clear sign is her routine shifting in ways that don't make sense. Let's be honest, we're all creatures of habit. Most people stick to a daily rhythm, especially in relationships. You know when she usually gets home, what nights she likes to hang out with friends, when she takes time for herself. But when cheating enters the picture, those patterns start breaking. It often begins small. She suddenly has late nights at work, even though she never stayed late before. Or she tells you she's been meeting friends more often, yet you've never met those friends or even heard much about them. She might even get vague about her whereabouts, brushing you off when you ask with quick answers like, "just out, don't worry." The truth is, people don't change their entire schedule overnight without a reason. If she's genuinely chasing new hobbies, focusing on health, or exploring personal goals, she'll usually want to share that with you. But when those changes are surrounded by secrecy and defensiveness, it points to something else. I once heard a story of a man whose girlfriend suddenly started going to the gym late at night. She claimed she wanted privacy, that she was more comfortable working out alone. But here's the strange thing. She never cared about fitness before. And even when he offered to join her, she declined. Eventually, he discovered the gym was actually cover for meeting another man. The psychology here is simple. When guilt mixes with desire, people become protective of their time. She knows she's lying, so she works extra hard to defend her new schedule. If you ask too many questions, she gets defensive or even annoyed. It's not because you're being nosy, it's because you're getting too close to the truth. And don't be fooled by over explanations either. Sometimes, instead of being vague, she'll give you too much detail, down to the color of the coffee cup she drank from. This isn't honesty, it's a performance. She's rehearsing a story to keep you from noticing the real one. So watch her patterns. Did she suddenly change her daily routine? Does she now have places to be that never existed before? And most importantly, do those changes include you or exclude you? Because if her new life is happening without you, chances are you're not the one she's prioritizing anymore. 3. Guarded with her phone. The phone is probably the biggest giveaway in today's world. Think about it. Our phones carry everything: messages, calls, photos, even our location history. When a woman is cheating, this device becomes her shield, her little secret box. And trust me, you'll notice the change. Maybe before she would leave her phone lying around. She didn't care if you glanced at it. She'd even ask you to check something for her, but suddenly it never leaves her side. She keeps it face down on the table. She jumps when it buzzes. She takes calls in another room, and when you casually ask, "Who was that?" her answers are short, dismissive. Just a friend or no one important. This isn't paranoia, it's behavior. People guard the things they fear losing. And when she's cheating, the last thing she wants is for you to stumble on the evidence. Psychology explains this as avoidance behavior. When someone feels guilty, they don't just hide the truth. They avoid situations where the truth might be discovered. One guy shared that his girlfriend suddenly put a password on her phone after years of not caring. He brushed it off, told himself it was normal, but weeks later he caught her texting another man late at night. The password wasn't about privacy, it was about secrecy. Now, not every locked phone means cheating. Privacy is healthy in a relationship, but the change is what matters. If she never cared before, but now she guards it with her life, that's a sign. If she texts with an urgency she never had, laughing at messages but not sharing why, that's a sign. And here's the painful part. If you ever feel like you're competing with her phone for her attention, that's another red flag. She's more emotionally invested in what's happening on that screen than in what's happening right next to her. So don't ignore the small shifts. A woman in love wants to share her life with you, not hide it. If her phone suddenly becomes a wall between you and her world, chances are she's hiding something behind that screen. 4. Intimacy feels different. Here's a sign that hits the hardest: when intimacy changes. And let me be clear, it doesn't always mean less intimacy. Sometimes it does, other times, strangely, it increases. But either way, you'll feel the difference. When she pulls away, you'll notice excuses, headaches, being tired, stress. It becomes a pattern. The affection that once came naturally now feels forced. You reach for her hand, she pulls away. You lean in for a kiss, she turns her head. It's subtle, but it cuts deep. On the other side, some women cheat and then overcompensate. Out of guilt, they suddenly become more affectionate, trying to mask the truth. They might initiate intimacy more often, but it feels off. The connection isn't real, it's a performance. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance. When her actions don't match her emotions, it creates a tension she tries to cover up with over-effort. I remember reading a story about a man who said his girlfriend suddenly became more experimental in bed, which at first felt exciting, but soon he realized those new moves weren't coming from nowhere. They were borrowed. His instincts were right, and he later found out she had someone else, and that's the key. Your gut knows. You might not have proof, but you can feel when something's changed. Intimacy is energy. When it's genuine, it flows naturally. When it's forced, you feel the cracks. So don't get fooled by surface level signs. Whether it's withdrawal or sudden overcompensation, both extremes are red flags. Real intimacy is steady. Fake intimacy is inconsistent. If she feels different when you hold her, kiss her, or make love to her, don't ignore that instinct. 5. Picking fights for no reason. Ever notice how arguments start popping up over nothing? Suddenly she's upset that you didn't text back fast enough, or she complains about things she never cared about before, like the way you fold laundry or the shows you watch. This isn't about dishes or text replies, it's about projection. When someone cheats, they carry guilt, and guilt looks for a way out. Instead of facing it, she flips the script and makes you the problem. Psychology calls this deflection. She doesn't want to face her own actions, so she creates tension and puts the blame on you. It's also a defense mechanism. By picking fights, she creates emotional distance. The more she argues, the less she feels accountable for betraying you. And here's the harsh truth. Sometimes she picks fights to justify her actions. She convinces herself, well, we're always fighting anyway, so maybe I deserve to be happy elsewhere. A man once told me his girlfriend started fights over the smallest things. He thought she was just stressed. But when he looked deeper, he realized the fights always happened right after she had been texting late at night. The arguments weren't about him, they were about her guilt. If you notice that she seems to be searching for reasons to argue, pay attention. Conflict is normal in every relationship, but the pattern matters. If the fights are constant, meaningless, and unresolved, it may not be about the argument at all. It may be her way of covering the truth she doesn't want to admit. 6. Over-explaining or being too vague. This one's tricky because both extremes mean the same thing. When she's cheating, she either gives you too much detail or none at all. Over-explaining usually sounds rehearsed. She comes home and tells you every little thing about where she was, what she wore, what she ate, who she saw, even if you didn't ask. At first, it sounds like honesty, but listen closely. She's not sharing, she's performing. The detail isn't natural, it's her way of convincing you not to dig deeper. On the flip side, sometimes she goes vague. You ask where she's been, and all you get is just out or with a friend. When you push for more, she gets defensive. She's not trying to inform you, she's trying to deflect. This behavior comes from the same place. Fear of exposure. Psychology calls it impression management. When someone lies, they focus more on how they appear than on the truth. That's why the details either feel too much or too little. They're trying to control your perception. One man said his girlfriend would give him stories that were overly precise, but when he compared her words to reality, the timelines didn't add up. The more detail she gave, the less sense it made. So here's the key. Honesty is usually simple. Lies are complicated. If her answers either feel overly rehearsed or suspiciously vague, it's time to ask yourself why. 7. Change in appearance and energy. Cheating often shows in physical changes. She starts caring more about how she looks, but not in ways that involve you. Suddenly she's buying new clothes, trying new makeup, wearing perfume she never used before. At first, you might think it's innocent, but ask yourself, who is she trying to impress? Here's the thing. When a woman is deeply into her partner, she enjoys being seen by him. She'll ask your opinion on outfits. She'll light up when you compliment her. But when she's cheating, she doesn't need your validation anymore. Her energy is being directed at someone else. And it's not just looks. Her energy changes too. She might seem happier when she's heading out, but quiet when she's with you. She glows when she's texting, but goes cold when you ask her what's up. That's because her excitement is no longer connected to you. It's connected to whoever else she's investing in. One story I heard was of a wife who suddenly started dressing up more for work. She said she wanted to feel confident, but her husband noticed she never cared about his compliments anymore. Eventually, he found out those efforts weren't for the office. They were for someone she was seeing. Psychology calls this displacement of attention. When someone redirects their energy to another person, they unconsciously reduce it with their partner. That's why you feel like she's slipping away, even when she looks better than before. So watch for the change. New clothes, new habits, new perfume, and yet less interest in your opinion. That's not self-love, that's misdirected love. 8, your gut tells you something's off. This is the final and most powerful sign, your gut. Deep down, you know. You may not have proof, but you feel it. That nagging sense that something is wrong, that uneasy silence, that doubt you can't shake, it's not just in your head. Psychology proves that our subconscious picks up micro signals before our conscious mind does. Her tone, her body language, the way she avoids your eyes, it all registers in your subconscious even if you can't explain it. That's why your gut feels uneasy. It's your mind noticing things you haven't put into words yet. Many men ignore this because they don't want to believe it. They call themselves paranoid. They tell themselves they're overthinking. But later, when the truth comes out, they look back and realize the signs were always there. Their gut was right all along. One man shared that he had a constant pit in his stomach about his girlfriend. He never caught her in a lie, but he couldn't shake the feeling. Months later, he found proof of her affair. He said the worst part wasn't her betrayal, it was that he already knew, but didn't trust himself. That's why this is the most important sign. Your instincts are there to protect you. They're not always perfect, but they're rarely baseless. If something feels off, don't dismiss it. Explore it. Trust yourself enough to question what doesn't add up. In the end, your gut may be the only sign you need. So here's the reality. A woman who cheats will always show signs. Emotional distance, changes in routine, guarded phones, strange intimacy, constant fights, suspicious stories, new energy, and finally, your gut telling you the truth. The question is, will you pay attention? If this video gave you clarity, make sure you subscribe to Olivia Rose for more deep insights into female psychology and relationships. Drop a comment below with your thoughts and share this with someone who might need it. Remember this, you deserve loyalty, honesty, and respect. Don't settle for less.